time to heat up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Hey everyone, I'm Derek and welcome to the Plus Platoon. The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We'll look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of the classic Disney that is on the platform. Make sure you are subscribed and you will never miss a moment. I would like to welcome to the Plus Platoon my girl, Kate. Kate, how you doing this evening?
So good, Derek. How are you?
Doing very, very well. It's been a good week so far.
I feel that.
Next, we are going to bring in Peter. Pete, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great, too.
Good. Next, we have got Sam. Sam, how's it going this evening?
Hey everyone, it's going okay. I was looking forward all day to chatting with my friends about Disney Plus.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, we would like to welcome back to the show, Rebecca.
Hi.
Rebecca, how you doing?
Yay.
Oh, good. I'm doing so good. I missed you guys last week, so I knew I had to be in here this week. So excited to be here.
We missed you too.
We totally missed you, Rebecca.
So,
I looked the wrong way.
yeah. So first up, I think we have Kate. Kate, what is the Disney Plus news this week?
Oh, it is time, everybody, for Disney Plus news. First of all, on April 22nd, we have Secrets of Wales for Earth Day. Basically, Sigourney Weaver's the narrator. It follows a family of whales for 7 years. Several years, not seven, several. So if you are a big whale or nature fan, make sure you check that out. Also, this Friday, Being the Queen is coming out, and it is a 1-hour documentary all about Queen Elizabeth with never-before-seen footage. It's going to be really good. I was a big fan of The Crown, so I'm super excited to watch Being the Queen. That's it. Back to you, Derek.
Great. Those all sound like a lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward to the Earth Day one because Earth Day's tomorrow.
So, is it really already?
Yeah,
oh my
Earth
gosh,
Day
that's
is
snuck up
tomorrow.
on me.
So I want to hear Sigourney Weaver talk about whales. So see what Dana Barrett has to say about whales. So now
Ripley.
Yeah. Or what was her character in the not Pandora, but you know what I'm talking about, that
Alien.
That was
no,
Ripley.
Pandora. No, it was Pandora.
No, I know, but the name of the movie.
Avatar?
Avatar.
There you go. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doctor something.
I hear Sigourney Weaver, and all I picture is her in the Great Movie Ride in the Alien.
Oh,
indeed.
yeah.
There
That
are
is
so
all
many
I
other-
picture.
Yeah.
May
Now,
she
whatever-
rest in pieces.
Yes.
And with that, what everyone is talking about this week is Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 5. Specifically, what's in the box that Sam got from Bucky and the Wakandans? Well, Sam, what's in the box?
Oh my God, you guys, I love this question. I have a very strong prediction that it is not simply a new pair of wings, as I think most people are predicting it to be. Instead, I think it's a new uniform. And I think this new uniform is going to transform Sam, the Falcon, into Captain America. And I think it's a quintessential Disney moment. It's a historical moment. There's going to be a Black Captain America, and the Wakandans, an African country, a country of Black people, is going to be sort of the trigger for making Sam into Captain America by providing him with a new Captain America uniform. That's my prediction. What do you think, Rebecca?
I could not agree with you more. I think that it was so monumental for the Wakandans to be the one to make this uniform for him, because I really think it's going to be a full vibranium uniform as well, essentially making him almost indestructible. And I think that it's kind of bittersweet because they made the arm for Bucky and the shield is out of vibranium. So kind of this whole trio has some huge connection through the Wakandans. So I think that it was really sweet for them to be able to do the ones, but definitely a uniform, full vibranium, not just the wings. Derek, what do you think?
I think we're all pretty much on the same page on this one as far as the vibranium. I'm interested to see in the comics, it actually like interfaces with his mind, kind of like the Iron Man suit did with Tony Stark. So I'm wondering if they're going to go that direction, since technically in the comics, he also took some super serum. He was also made into a super soldier. So I wonder if it's going to do that or if it's just going to be just an indestructible suit. Kate, what's your thoughts?
I believe that it is a suit made from moon rocks that were sent down from Captain America. He sent them to Wakanda because that's like actually the only like connection that they have. And Ed nailed it when he said it's a super moon suit. So where's my super moon suit? Ed, I've got your back, you know. No, but I agree. I do think it is a new uniform. And just I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. While I was watching this episode, I turned next to the person who was watching it with me, and I was like, the shield is made out of Valerian steel, right? And he goes, that's Game of Thrones.
You said Valerian steel.
That's Game of Thrones. And I was like, oh, very different. So yeah, I think it's a new suit. I think it's a new uniform. So
it's also not adamantium, by the way.
You're right.
But that is Marvel.
So Pete, what about you?
I can't help but agree with you that it's some kind of Captain America suit that's going to have vibranium woven into it, like the Black Panther suit. But I think that he still might have wings though, because he's really good with those things. So I wonder if we're going to see like a hybrid Falcon and Captain America suit. But I do think they are setting it up that he's going to be given the mantle of Captain America. I think we're going to see that by the end of the next episode.
Yeah, I was curious as to whether or not Torres might sort of take over as Falcon because now he's got the broken wings, and if he redoes them. But I don't know, but I think you might be right, Pete. There might be a melding of the wings and the Captain America kind of suit. So who knows?
Yeah, I do know in the comics he does take over as Falcon.
Oh.
Torres does take over as Falcon with those wings.
Mm-hmm.
So see what our crowd has in it. The other half of the DCL duo wonders if it's some kind of Wakandan Black Panther flower stuff. Give him the power of the Black Panther. Not sure I buy that. If in there is also some super serum, that I could see.
Mm-hmm.
But which may be why he gave a confusing look to it. Pete, you don't agree?
No, I think, one of the things that I was thinking about this week after watching the show and watching the direction that Walker is going down, which is basically anti-Captain America or whatever he's going to become, it occurred to me that like the difference between those two, between Steve Rogers and John Walker, is Steve Rogers started out for a good portion of his life as the wimp, right? He was the little guy. He was the guy getting beaten up. So when he became Captain America, he still had that in him that he wanted to protect the little guy. And in doing that, he became such a bastion of good. I wonder if the reason, I'm thinking like Walker is just the opposite. He's always been the hero and the leader and everything like that. And he because of that, he wants that power more to continue to be the hero. And I think Sam, one of the things we're seeing with Sam is that Sam's a regular guy. He said to Zemo that he doesn't want the super serum. And so I don't think he's going to take it at any point. I think if he was offered it, he wouldn't take it. I think he's just going to be a regular guy. I think that's why we're going to see the Wakanda suit, so that he has some power to allow him to be Captain America.
He was so quick to say, no, I would not take the serum. Like, there was no hesitation, no thought behind it, but just, no, I would never do it. Because I think that he's seen the really extreme good and the extreme bad of it, and it's just kind of unquestionable. But something, Derek, that you said is, I have heard rumors too that they're going to make it kind of like Black Panther. He was able to just think of his costume and it would show up on him, kind of like Iron Man was able to just kind of think about it and it would show up. So I agree with you on that point, that there's probably going to be some type of mind, not control, but just a way that Sam would just have to think about wearing his armor and it's going to show up in. And so I liked what you said there.
Okay. Yeah, Gina says she agrees with all of us. Willie's saying he thinks we do get Torres as Falcon in the finale, because Sam did tell him just keep the wings.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
True.
Yeah,
so he has the wings.
That's what made me think of it too. I'm with you, Willie. We're simpatico today.
Kate?
Well, just like, you don't think that he would become the next Black Panther, do you?
No.
He was more likely to become the next Captain America.
Yes.
I just think that the Wakandans are
not
just using
Wakandan.
similar things. Yeah, they're just using similar tactics that they've used in Black Panther's suit, in the shield, and all these other things, and just kind of morphing it into Sam's uniform.
But here's the other question that I had, even when I watched this whole series. Why do we need another Captain America?
Because there's one in the comic books.
The world needs a new Cap. Come on, Kate. So I actually think we're going to see a new iteration of a Black Panther as well. It's obviously not going to be the same as Chadwick Boseman's version of Black Panther, but we're going to see some new Wakandan superhero. They may not even call it Black Panther. They may call it something else, but it's going to be a new Wakandan leader superhero, not just the female warriors. So I do think they want this next generation of heroes is sort of coming up, and this is what WandaVision is setting up for. This is what Falcon and Winter Soldier is setting up for. It's the next generation of Marvel, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe superheroes, not to be confused with the X-Men Marvel or other versions of Marvel.
Yeah, because we're seeing in other versions, we're going to see a new version of Iron Man. They've already said there's going to be, and I forget what the name of the girl that becomes a new version of Iron Man, but there's going to be a TV show around her. You got She-Hulk. You got
female Thor.
You got supposedly Black Widow. They're going to pass that on to her sister in the Black Widow movie. So I think, I'm not sure I agree with every character being replaced by the next generation. The Hawkeye, there's going to be a new Hawkeye as well.
Oh, wow.
So but I think that's where they're going with this, is to have Sam be the leader of that new Avengers team or something like that, or at least a major player in it.
Yeah, because as Brian says, because no one really dies in the comics, at least the heroes don't.
Yeah,
true in both Marvel and in DC comics. Like there's been a million versions of Superman, for example, and of Batman, for example, from the DC universe.
Yeah. Willie says they used the last flower after Killmonger destroyed them. I'm not sure I buy that. I think there's usually look, we found this extra patch of flowers somewhere.
Yeah, there's going to be a new cave.
Yeah. Ed is giving me way too much credit here. Says, so proud of Derek. He's into those Marvel comic books. Is he coming around to liking the series? No, I just do my research. So, yeah, no, it's still not working for me.
Well, I liked the new episode a lot, which I had moved towards Derek after episode 4, but now I am moving back away from Derek to the rest of the team for my enjoyment of this last episode. Yeah.
Glenn says he loves Kate's question. Think America is an evolving concept. It may no longer be Steve Rogers' Cap, but I think Sam's is relevant. I was actually hoping for
Carly
must be Carly.
Maybe Carly.
Yeah. Make her be the new captain at one point in the show. That's going to kind of lead us to our next question. So Glenn, we will circle back around to that. Ed says, maybe Piggly Wiggly Cap. Since we cut out Kroger Cap.
I agree with this. I agree
yeah,
with this.
Yeah. Fourth phase of the MCU, so it'll be all new heroes, or at least new people playing the heroes.
Yeah.
All
New
of
versions
them?
of the story.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
Except for
all of
Thor.
them in the sense that like Sam is not a new character, right? But he's
Right.
going to be playing a new hero role. So he's
Right.
still, and Ant-Man, for example, might still be around, and it just some of these characters may sort of be carryovers, but a lot of them are going to be new.
Interesting.
Wants to get me a trash can to sit in. I'm happy where I am. You guys can have Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm going to give it to you. Ryan saw a video comparing Sam versus Steve. I think he means
Walker.
Walker versus Steve. Steve would typically say, I'm Steve Rogers, and Walker always said, I'm Captain America. So bad from the start, which actually is a great segue to our next point is, guys, next Friday's the finale. How does it end? Pete, what you got? How does this thing end?
Man, I think there's going to be a big battle. That's pretty obvious. I think we're going to see Sam take the mantle over. I think that you're going to see at least a three-way battle if there isn't a fourth coming in here, but I think you'll see Sam and Bucky against the Flag Smashers, against John Walker, and his whoever he is now. no longer Kroger Captain America, I guess, but working for Elaine from Seinfeld. So maybe Jerry Captain America. I don't know. And then we still have Sharon out there. Mm-hmm. We don't know what she's up to. At the end of the episode, she brought Batroc or whatever his name is, and brought him in to help the Flag Smashers. But I don't know what to think of her. I do have to say they've done a good job with her. I don't want to think she's the power broker, but I just really have no idea. But so there's a fourth faction in there, maybe that's one of the things I liked about this episode is they got rid of a couple of the factions that were, to me, making too many factions. So I think we're gonna have a big 3 or 4 way fight. That's gonna be pretty brutal. And I think what's interesting is in all the clips we've seen, we've not really seen anything from this last episode indicating where it's going to take, what's going to take place and where it's going to take place. So I'm expecting, New York, right? Yeah. But I'm saying I'm expecting something that is going to hopefully kind of blow us away. So hopefully it's going to be really exciting. What do you think, Sam? What are we going to see?
It's funny. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think we're going to see this big 4-way fight. It's going to be an epic battle in this last episode. However, the only thing I'll disagree with you on is I do think Sharon is the power broker. I'm becoming more convinced that she's the power broker now. So I'm not sure how it's all going to end, how it's all going to resolve. But I actually love that I don't know exactly where it's going to go, except that it's culminating to this big battle, right? I think that is sort of an easy prediction for all of us to make because of the way they're setting up these various sides. But I'm just really excited because I don't know where it's going to go. And that is part of the fun. Rebecca?
So I kind of have a wild-ish theory, I guess, when it comes to this. Willie and I were talking, and he brought up such an amazing point. A couple episodes ago, he had made the comment that we don't know who or what Sharon Carter is working for. Could be the power broker, could be herself. But he had brought up the point that Nick Fury is still out there and that she could very well still be working with him. And I think that his point was proven a little more with who she called, who she had hired, with Batroc being brought into the Flag Smashers. There's obviously then was he hired in the first episode against the fight scene? And I think that he's kind of like a little free agent. And he just happens to have he just gets called for all these people. But I think that was a connection that he had made that I think really stood out. So obviously there's this huge fight scene that's going to happen in New York. I think I would love, and this is just me like wanting it to happen, for them to tie in WandaVision into this and like bring in Doctor Strange because he's there. And even though I know it's not going to happen, I want it to. I want those crossovers. I also think that we're going to see the downfall of government in some way, shape, or form. There's going to be a lot of things maybe exposed, a lot of things that we're going to get truths about. I think Isaiah Bradley's character is still out there somewhere, which is not, we haven't gotten, we got a full story of him and what they had done to him. And I think Sam may bring light to that. So I'm really excited for some punches. But Derek, what do you think?
How's it going to end? With me celebrating that it's the last episode. That's how it's going to end. But
boo.
Which sadly it may not be, because how they put it in the Emmys sets it up for a season 2. So we shall see.
I'm good with that.
I don't think we get a clean Carly dies.
No.
I think she vanishes, because that's a very Marvel thing, is she just goes, she's either arrested or she just goes away. I don't think she dies, because I don't think we've heard the last of her. I mean, I think the Flag Smashers go down. It is interesting that Batrock, I told you so, is back.
We didn't disagree with you.
And the fact that is, you actually had to know that is who, you had to look at the closed captions to see that is who Sharon was on the phone with.
Mm-hmm.
Calling in. So as far as which side Sharon's on, I'm leaning power broker, but to me her character really hasn't been developed enough to care that much.
Yeah.
I think Kroger Cap's going to turn to the Contessa. I think at the moment she's working for Nick Fury. Because that's how we get U.S. Agent. I think that's how we get Walker to be U.S. Agent, and then Contessa turns. I think that's like a season 2 or a movie at the end of a movie. However, I think the last post-credit scene is the phone call. Is Walker sees her on the phone and picks up. And I think that's your last post-credit scene, because that then sets it up to whatever's going to happen next. Bucky, he's going to make good with the Asian father. Everything's going to be forgiven there, be able to clear his conscience. And I think that Sam goes home to Louisiana, is with his sister on the boat, but knows that his job as Captain America is not done yet. Kate, who's right and who's wrong?
Okay, so I think we learned from WandaVision that Kate is really bad at making predictions, like really bad at it. FYI, Cap is on the moon. But she's really bad at it. So I had this like wackadoodle theory of like, man, what if Walker decides that he wants to be the leader of the one world, one people? And so he becomes the leader of the Flag Smashers because he wants to be the Captain America of the world. I know it's a bad thing, but like that's where my brain went. Okay. Was like, what's the most ridiculous thing I can think of? Because that's usually what happens. Would I love it if right at the end Vision flies in and like Rebecca just like took it from me? It's fine. I would just like to thank everyone, because who was the first person that said, I think Sharon's the power broker? This girl. And everybody was like, no, that's not a thing. She's definitely good. And so if she becomes the power broker, I'm not saying I called it, but I'm saying I called it.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I, much like Rebecca, I hope there's a crossover. I wouldn't even be mad if, and I'm not going to remember her name now, but the girl who flew up into space at the very end of WandaVision.
Rambo.
I wouldn't even be mad if she comes back and like is the crossover. Gina says Wanda and Vision aren't coming. No one's coming to save us. So I'm a big fan of crossovers. I I have no idea. But I will say I loved watching Sam and Bucky do chores together. I could watch an entire season of just them doing chores together.
I
That's
love
all.
that too. I love I love that we like for the first time actually saw them connecting on a personal level and becoming friends, and sort of you see how, you know, the bridge that Cap was between the two of them, that bridge has now, you know, sort of come together. And so it was a really kind of beautiful male friendship moment, or moments I should say, and I was here for all of that.
I had made
And
a
honestly,
connection.
both Sam and Bucky, pretty nice to look at.
They can get it.
Yeah. No, I had made such a good connection with every time that we had seen Bucky sleeping. It was in the middle of a nightmare. You know, he had woken up in the middle of the night on the floor in sweats and all of this stuff. And the one time that we saw him sleeping in this episode was on a couch with a blanket and pillows. And he woke up to the sound of like kids and happiness and family. And he didn't have a nightmare. And he just woke up with a smile. And then like got out of bed. And I was like, I turned over to Willie and I was like, oh, he's not having a nightmares anymore. Like he's finally coming like his own person again. And it was such a good moment. So yes.
Yes, beautiful. I love that.
Gina thinks Flag Smasher's story wraps up. John Walker evolves into U.S. agent and Thunderbolt Ross. Okay. Becky says it ends with the scriptwriters being drummed out of the Screenwriters Guild, and the last flower is returned to Rapunzel. Fade to black.
This is Derek's wife, by the way.
Yeah.
No. This is my
No.
mother.
Oh, this is your mother. Sorry. It makes sense. She agrees with you, though.
Yeah. Ryan says, I'm assuming Sharon could be working for somebody else, and the person she's working for is on the moon. Willie did say in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Fury hired Batroc. He's a member of the Nick Fury hit squad. So does that mean Nick Fury is after Sam?
My thing is that is the connection between Sharon working with Fury and Captain America and all of them still being connected somehow. I don't know what, I mean, Fury's ultimate end was, but I just think that was the connection that we had made together, connecting Sharon to Fury and to all this other mess.
Right. That would mean that Sharon is not the power broker under that theory, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
GRC is going to reveal to be Hydra. I can see that. Contessa's a triple agent in the comics. Yeah, she's Hydra's sword and Leviathan all at the same time. So it's which side is she on now? The post-credit scene in this episode where Walker's building his own Captain America shield.
Yeah, and then he's going to want to be the leader of the whole world, the one world, one people. So he's going to say, the Flag Smashers have got it going on. I'm right.
So Kate's right.
But the Flag Smashers killed
The Flag
Battlestar.
Flashers.
Yeah, they killed Hoskins.
They killed his
buddy,
partner.
Battlestar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
that was before he went rogue. I know I'm not right, but just let me have this one.
So here's my one additional prediction. I think end credit scene they reveal who the power broker is, and I don't think it's Sharon.
Yeah, because I think she might have hired, because the weapons he gave the Flag Smashers, how do we know they worked?
I wonder if we're going to see somebody we know. If Sharon is not the power broker, I wonder if somebody else we know from the universe is the power broker.
Okay.
Like that would be a kind of a cool twist if they, as like an after credit scene or something.
Who do you think it would be, though? Like, do you think it might
I
be
honestly,
like Nick
I have
Fury?
no idea.
Okay.
That could be interesting. No, I honestly have no idea because I really do think that it's Sharon, but I do think Marvel has a nice way of doing these kinds of twists and bringing back old characters from other movies, and so that could be another twist.
My only problem with Sharon being the power broker is that introduction to her and that being her character was really weak. I think that Contessa had a much better entrance, and if we had found out that she was a power broker, that would be a much more, like, for someone who is this and powerful in the series to be the most powerful person in the show. We just haven't met them yet. For Sharon Carter to just show up and just, you know, to me, it would just be really weak of like, okay, well, yeah, I guess they went there, but.
Can I just say that the last person I ever expected to show up was Julia Louise-Dreyfus. Like,
I love her though. She's hilarious and awesome.
She's hilarious, but if you had said, Kate, there's going to be this like kick butt, really confident female character who just like comes in and owns the screen, who is it? She is not who I would have chosen. So when she walked in, I was like, oh, okay, Marvel, let's go.
But I kind of love that. Like, I kind of love that about Marvel. I mean, another new superhero that we're going to see is, I'm trying to remember his name. He's the guy from The Big Sick. He used to be a kind of
Nanjali.
Kumail Nanjiani, I think is his last name.
Yep.
And he's an Indian actor and comedian. He wrote The Big Sick. He was a thin guy, and now he is all, and he's going to be in one of the new Marvel superheroes. So I kind of love that they sometimes take someone who you wouldn't expect to be a particular character and pull them in to be, you know, some kind of badass character. Well, and that's kind of what I feel like they're doing with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
This is the last thing I'll say about it, but even like Chris Pratt, the thing he did before Guardians of the Galaxy was Andy Dwyer in Parks and Recreation. And if you watch those first, all up until the 6th season where he started losing weight, and they even address it in the episode where he's like, I stopped drinking beer or something. I would never have pegged him for a Marvel superhero. So exactly. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, hey. The other thing that came out new this week was Big Shot, the new John Stamos vehicle. Rebecca, is Big Shot a slam dunk?
100% more than, and I know I'm going to get a lot of bad rap for this, but it's so much better than the Mighty Ducks. The only thing that the Mighty Ducks has going for it is that character Nick, whereas to me, Big Shot is just so much more relatable to someone who is like me. They've already addressed a lot of different issues or teenager-like things in the first episode with fat shaming and LGBTQ community and single parents and all of this stuff. And so for me, it's like so much more relatable and a lot easier for me to watch with it being girls basketball and not kids who are 10 years old and all of this stuff. So I think 100% hit the mark, and I'm watching this one over the Mighty Ducks, and I'm sorry for that. But
okay. When I was younger, there was an old commercial called Grant. It was a Sprite commercial. It was Grant Hill drinks Sprite, and this guy goes and drinks the Sprite and thinks he's going to be like Grant Hill, really good basketball player back in the 90s. Okay, goes up and banks it off the rim and falls flat on his back. That is Big Shot to me. There's no comedy. It's all very stereotypical characters. It's soft dialogue. Whole thing sounded like it should have been at the end of Full House when the music gets serious. That was the whole episode. So it's just it's total miss for me. Kate?
Yeah. Derek, listen, you and I are one mind tonight. And it's funny because Rebecca, I love everything about you. Everything about you. I'm going to be really honest. I couldn't even make it through the full episode. I tried, and I found that I kept getting distracted by other things. I couldn't, I would realize that I wasn't paying attention. And so I was like, I can sit here and rip my eyes out or not. I felt like it was, and what makes me so mad about that is because it's a girl sport. And I am like, I know Rebecca and I are like super together on this, that like, yes, female empowerment, like, yes, girl sports, let's go. Like, you should want to play like a girl because we're awesome. But there was one one instance that just made me, I don't know if it was made me uncomfortable. It was when they were in the locker room or something, or the something, and John Stamos, who, yeah, he hasn't aged great, but he's aged better than some. He, like, one of the girls mouths off to him, and he's like, "You're benched," and then he gets a bunch of crap for that, and then he like sits with her in a car, and there was just like so many things that I was like, ooh, if you were an educator, you know what you wouldn't do? That.
Any of that.
So I just couldn't. I wanted to, and I just would rather watch Own the Room.
Or Jane.
Oh no, we're not to that point yet.
So I guess the top level here is all in agreement, because I'm with both Derek and Kate. Maybe a little less. I made it through the episode and it was okay. It's clearly not meant for me. I can see why Rebecca likes it. It's definitely I sat there thinking about, because I always think about this with shows, who's this show really for? And it seemed like it was for young women, right? I mean, teenagers, 20s, that type of thing. So it makes sense. But for me, I found it a little boring. I thought, like, who wants to see John Stamos be this big a jerk for a TV series? Because you want to see him be a big jerk? Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't make the series.
Yeah. And so it was okay. My wife did like it. So we might keep watching it. I didn't like fall asleep during it. So, but yeah, very stereotypical, and kind of the opposite of Rebecca. Like, I was like, well, Mighty Ducks is kind of funny and charming, and this is kind of very serious and not charming. And so I think I'm going to stick with Mighty Ducks. So we'll let Rebecca watch Big Shot.
All right. So
what about you, Sam? Yep.
So Rebecca, I'm going to tell you that I'm with you, but I'm not going to call it a slam dunk. So that's
okay.
So that's the caveat. I'm going to call it like
A layup.
I don't know. A layup. Yeah, a layup. Perfect. Is it brilliant? No. Is it gonna win an Emmy or something? No. But was it decent to watch? Did it hit some real issues? I think that teenage girls, particularly teenage athletes, face. Absolutely. I thought it was worth the watch. Remember, I did not like Mighty Ducks, the TV series, the first couple of episodes, and it has grown on me a little bit. I've been watching it because my 7-year-old likes it, and so we basically sit down to watch Disney Plus Saturday mornings. We watch Falcon and Winter Soldier without him, and then we bring him in and watch Mighty Ducks, and then actually this week we watched Big Shot right after. So we watched all 3 in a row, and I'm like I said, Mighty Ducks grew on me a little bit. Is it my favorite show? Would I watch it on my own? No. But I might. I'm at least going to give it another chance for episode 2. I think like I said, I think it's better than Mighty Ducks. Not a masterpiece. Yeah. So I'm with you, Rebecca, except with the caveat that I wouldn't call it a slam dunk.
And I'll give that to you, because as far as Disney TV series are concerned, it's not amazing. As far as Disney sports TV series are concerned, I think that it's so much better than any of the ones that I've seen. I was a high school, college athlete. I played soccer, I played basketball, I did volleyball, I did all those things. And so all of the stuff that I'm excited to watch them travel to games. I'm excited for them to have game days and, get uniforms and all this stuff, just stuff that like I missed out on getting and being able to do. They're talking about, the fat shaming thing. That's something that is my most empowering thing about women, and it's, when body image and all that stuff. So I'm so excited to get to do this. I will agree with Kate on there was a little bit of an uncomfortableness when they called him cute. That's your teacher / coach. Like, there's an obvious, you're in high school, so you know that they're underage, and it's just
And
like,
he's like-
I don't.
The car
like
scene was
50s,
uncomfortable.
you know,
And the
it's-
car scene, yeah, I feel like they're kind of insinuating it a little bit, and I was like, and that's not where I wanted this to go. That's the only thing that I'll agree with, though. Everything else I think was fine, but
Can I say naming the team the Sirens, like from Odysseus, the ladies that tempt and destroy men and destroy ships? Either that's
that was
really obvious foreshadowing, or it's really bad naming. I can't tell which.
probably the latter.
Yeah, to me, this just has the feel of a really bad after-school special. Kate?
Okay, so I just have a question for the two down there. So the majority that I watched, it wasn't funny. It didn't make me laugh. It made me want, like, literally I sat there going, I want to like this. I am so for female sports and female empowerment. How can you say, Sam, especially looking at you, that this is not as good as Mighty Ducks when Mighty Ducks is so funny? Like, explain that to me.
Okay, so I'm going to just tell you from my perspective. I think that Mighty Ducks is quite cheesy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. And I don't think this is cheesy. I think this is a little bit more authentic. And you're right, it isn't funny. It's not a comedy.
Yeah.
It's more of maybe like a teenage drama or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. It's a teenage drama sports show, whereas we're used to seeing teenage or kid or teenage comedy with a sports, movie or show. And so maybe that's where it's kind of a different genre than what we're used to with sports movies with less humor. So I don't mind that though. But I just think that the cheese of the Mighty Ducks is what turned me off more so than anything. And I like that this lacked that cheese. Again, not going to win any awards, but to me it was a nice little watch, a nice little escape for that.
I feel that. I respect that. I respect that.
Gina says she liked it because it took place in San Diego, Orange County. Team Laguna Niguel is right by her house, so they're using real places. She says even the background was Laguna Beach. Must have been written for the California crew. That's possible. Willie says that Big Shots is really good, but my guy Nick has broad shoulders. He can single-handedly carry the Ducks. I will say the first 5 minutes of Mighty Ducks was creepy this week. The whole conversation between him and the snack bar girl was unnecessary for a bunch of kids. But Brian says sees no daylight between this and Mighty Ducks. Hard not to like it. There's, to me, there's no daylight because they're on the other sides of the planet. So not going to get an Emmy. It's vanilla ice cream TV.
Yeah. I would totally agree with that.
Tried so hard to be relevant, they forgot to be entertaining. As a high school teacher, I can see that. Yeah, they're trying so hard to get experience what a real high school basketball and real teen angst is like.
That's literally the most entertaining part. That is literally the most entertaining part for me. Is that it is so relevant. I literally sat there and watched it, and I was like, oh, they went there. Like, Disney is going there and not afraid to go there with so many things. And I was like, all right, let's watch it.
Yeah, I think it's clearly, you saw John Stamos again in the ads and everything. You immediately thought, oh, it's going to be comedy. Once you sat down and watched the show, it's clearly not a comedy. There was zero humor in that episode, literally zero humor. So it's intended to be a teen drama. That's not a CW drama that's all about teens trying to have sex. This is, more 25-year-old teens on the CW. But so again, I see where it is going to appeal to a certain, as I said, young women. I think that's what the show is directed at, and will try. It looks to me like it'll try to address that. why they would then center it around a 50-something-year-old John Stamos, I don't completely get, because it seems like that character would not be interested to young women. But I
Uncle
said,
Jesse, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but do
Yeah.
I think that's
Rebecca, I think you're muted.
I think
No,
that's to try and get a broader audience,
Okay.
Pete. So I agree with you. I don't think if John Stamos is going to be like the focus of the show versus the girls being the focus of the show, it is a little bit of a miss. But because I don't think John Stamos appeals to those teenage girls. John Stamos appeals to, I'm 40, appeals to me. Maybe Kate in her late 20s, early 30s.
33, baby, 33.
Rebecca's
Okay.
down here about to burst. So what do you got to say, Rebecca?
Sorry.
John Stamos is a better actor than Emilio Estevez.
Agreed, 100%.
I'll agree with that.
In which
That's why it's
vehicle?
much.
in Mighty
all of
Ducks
them.
versus Olive? Ooh, I'm not sure about all of them.
And to be fair, I have never seen anything other Emilio Estevez's works
Okay.
except
okay.
for
Okay.
Mighty Ducks and the series. Everything I've
Okay.
seen John Stamos in has been like.
You've never
better.
seen The Breakfast Club?
Yeah, that's I was going to
He's
say.
in
there's a-
that?
You've never seen The
Yeah.
Outsiders?
No.
Who was
Yeah.
Outsiders?
I would say
he-
actually, I would
Emilio
say St.
Estevez
Elmo's.
was in The
St. Elmo's.
Outsiders.
Yes, he was. And I would say St. Elmo's Fire is actually one of his
Yeah.
best roles.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I would say you got to see him in something a little more serious than to compare it. But I think in these series, I like
Yes.
John Stamos better than I like Emilio Estevez. But you know, they are different personalities and different characters.
Yeah, see, I find John Stamos so far, one episode only, very one note, and so I don't think he's. I mean, his acting is fine. It's just what he's doing with it is not very interesting to me.
And Gina says again, it's very Orange County. John Stamos is from Orange County. It's okay. We got to get the West Coast production team something to film.
And some beautiful beaches.
Girls basketball. There we go. Young Guns. Emilio Estevez owns it. Yes. Rebecca, there's a lot, especially when he was younger.
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez did some really good stuff.
I just don't think I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Listen, we
That's
will
fair.
have a sisters'
Here-
night, and I will educate you. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Okay.
Here's the good news. Some of us can watch Big Shots. Some of us can watch Mighty Ducks,
Mighty
and
Ducks.
we can
Mhm.
comment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ryan is just here for Kate's cat, though. By the way,
I don't know what has happened, but my cat just wants to sit on my lap, so it's fine. Continue.
So next week, we got the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale. That's going to be our focus next week. Now, in 2 weeks, Falcon and Winter Soldier will be over. Loki has not started yet. We're going to dip back into the vault, guys. We're going to be watching Peter Pan. The 1953 animated Disney Peter Pan will be our vault show in 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks to watch it. Going to talk about, and watch it through 2020 eyes. Has it aged well? What parts of it have some parts of it aged well? Has any of it aged well? So that's the direction we're heading in 2 weeks.
Can I watch it through 2021 eyes?
Oh,
2020 was pretty
Oh,
bad,
tw-
and I don't want
okay.
to.
2020 vision.
Yes, but
Yeah.
2021 eyes.
So, thank you for joining us tonight. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Facebook.com/Plus Platoon. YouTube.com/Plus Platoon. Thank you to all of those of you who subscribed to us this last week. We got the name. We have our 100 subscribers. Invite your friends. Twitter, we are at Plus Platoon. Instagram, we are Plus Platoon. If you have suggestions, please email plusplatoon@gmail.com. What do you want to see from the vault? What is coming out that you're excited about that we should watch next? So please give us suggestions. We want to hear from you. With that being said, guys, have a great night, and we will see you next week.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcast and leave those 5-star reviews as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @Plus Platoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast and is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.